She once turned me down and chose someone else. Now, after leaving a toxic relationship, she says she still loves me, but I don't feel the same anymore. Lena, 28, and I met 3 years ago through a local recreational volleyball league. Our team practiced twice a week and played games on weekends. That's how our group of friends came together. After each practice, we'd all go out for dinner or drinks. One of us was Chase, 30, a corporate lawyer. Lena stood out to me right away, not just because of how she looked, but the energy she brought. She taught high school science and always had entertaining stories about her students. She was usually the most talkative one in our group after practice. Chase noticed her too. He often sat next to her, walked her to her car, and stayed close during outings. Over the first year, our group became tight. We celebrated birthdays, helped each other move, and even took a weekend trip to Cape Cod. During that time, my feelings for Lena grew. She popped into my mind during everyday moments, at meetings or grocery shopping. We texted often, usually about funny things she saw, new restaurants, books, or TV shows. After a year and a half, I decided to tell her how I felt. It wasn't an easy choice. I worried it might ruin our friendship or affect our whole group. I thought about it for weeks. One evening after practice, I invited Lena for coffee, just the two of us. We sat in a small cafe near the gym. I still remember everything: the chipped blue mug, the low hum of the espresso machine, the soft evening light. I told Lena my feelings had grown beyond friendship and asked if she'd consider dating. She took a long pause before finally saying she valued our friendship but didn't feel the same way. She added that she wasn't looking to date anyone because she was thinking about applying to grad school. I lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling. It hurt, but I appreciated her honesty. I tried not to let things change between us. We kept texting, playing volleyball, and hanging out. Eventually, the sting of rejection faded as I focused on moving forward. But just 2 months later, Lena started dating Chase. They made it public one Friday night, showing up hand in hand at drinks. The moment hit me hard. Everyone congratulated them while I tried to make sense of it. It wasn't just that she was with someone else. She had said she wasn't ready for a relationship. Her dating Chase made it clear she just wasn't interested in me. After that, my feelings for Lena faded, not out of anger, but because romantic attraction, for me, requires shared interest. Without that, my feelings couldn't survive. Still, I stayed friends with both Lena and Chase. If Chase made her happy, that was enough. We continued with volleyball, though I missed a few games after being promoted to CFO. Lena and I kept texting and joking around. She even grew close with my sister, Claire, 32. They often went shopping or grabbed lunch, which was great for Claire, who had recently moved to Boston and needed local friends. A few months ago, Lena and Chase broke up. Everyone was surprised. They'd always seemed like a solid couple. Chase stopped coming to events first, then Lena grew distant. 3 weeks ago, Claire called me, her voice shaking. Lena had shown her photos, bruises on her arm and back. Chase had abused her emotionally and physically. He controlled her phone and isolated her from friends. I was shocked. The same Chase who laughed with us and helped move furniture was hurting her in private. Lena started spending more time with Claire and sometimes stayed over at my place. We offered support without overwhelming her. She seemed to be doing better, though I believed therapy might help her process it all. 2 weeks ago, she came to my apartment for wine and conversation. We talked about light topics: Netflix, volleyball, the weather. My kitchen is tiny, so we kept bumping into each other and laughing. Out of nowhere, Lena kissed me. I pulled away after a few seconds, joking about the wine. She laughed and said it was strong. Then she left to prepare for school the next day. The next morning, Lena returned. Her eyes were red. She sat down and told me she had loved me for months. She said she regretted not dating me earlier. Apparently, she had turned Chase down at first, but he kept bringing her gifts and food until she gave in. She felt pushed into the relationship. Lena believed that if Chase hadn't been so persistent, she and I might have ended up together. I listened, unsure of what to feel. When she finished, I gently told her I no longer felt the same. I loved her as a friend but wasn't excited by the idea of dating her. Her face dropped. She asked if I was turning her down for revenge. I told her no, but the truth is, her initial rejection had changed how I saw her. Once I realized she didn't return my feelings, those emotions never came back. It wasn't revenge, I had just needed mutual affection to stay interested. Lena seemed heartbroken and left. Claire called that night, furious. She accused me of being cruel and punishing Lena for nothing. She insisted Lena was my perfect match and that Chase had manipulated her. She thought I was being cold. The next day, Lena texted me saying she needed space and that we should stop seeing each other. It hurt, especially since I'd worked hard to keep our friendship after she rejected me years ago. I still care about her and hope we can talk again someday. I respected her request and gave her space. I also asked Claire to step back, she needed to understand boundaries. 2 weeks later, things took a surprising turn. Claire and I had lunch. She quietly read the Reddit post on my phone while I picked up my omelet. When she finished, she apologized. She admitted she shouldn't have interfered and said she supported my decision. She even agreed with many commenters that a relationship between me and Lena might not be right, at least not now. I felt relieved. At least one part of the situation was resolved. Following that conversation and a lot of reflection, I decided not to reach out to Lena. I needed space too. A week after meeting with Claire, I went to a friend's housewarming party in Cambridge. The place was packed, the music loud, and everyone seemed happy. After a long week, I left around midnight. When I got home, the front desk clerk told me Lena was waiting. Surprised, I let her up. She looked much better and smiled brightly when she saw me. She hugged me like she truly missed me. She had seen my Instagram story about the party and had asked our mutual friend where I was. When she heard I'd left early, she came over. We had a few drinks and talked casually. It felt easy. She kissed me again, and this time, I didn't stop her, probably due to the alcohol and old comfort. She stayed the night. The next morning, I woke up with a headache and went to get coffee while she showered. When I returned, we both knew we needed to talk. Lena said she understood I might think she was using me as a rebound, but insisted her feelings were real. She wanted to prove we could make it work as a couple. I told her honestly, I was confused. The night before had been nice, but my feelings still weren't romantic. Lena cried and asked if I could change my mind. I said we needed to step back. Maybe after time apart, we could try to rebuild our friendship, but being together now would only make things harder. She cried more but agreed. After breakfast and a calm conversation, she left my place again. After Lena tried to interfere with my relationship with Sophie, she went silent for about a month. But her presence started showing up in strange ways. She came to my gym, the coffee shop near my office during lunch, and even showed up at a restaurant where I was having dinner with coworkers. I avoided her every time, choosing to leave instead of engaging. After the fifth, coincidental, meeting, I decided enough was enough. Following advice from a lawyer, I wrote Lena a formal no-contact letter. It clearly stated that I didn't want her contacting me or appearing near me again, and that any further attempts could be considered harassment. 2 days after she received the letter, she sent a long email to both me and Sophie. She apologized. She said she had started therapy to work through what she went through with Chase. She admitted that her actions had crossed the line and promised to respect our boundaries from now on. Following my lawyer's advice, I didn't respond. Sophie and I talked it over and agreed. Even though the apology seemed genuine, the damage was already done. We didn't want Lena in our lives anymore. Claire briefly spoke with Lena after that email. Lena told her she regretted everything and was finally facing her past and her choices. They had coffee once, but Claire ultimately felt staying close to Lena would be disloyal to me. It would also stir up more complications than healing. Unfortunately, the drama ended up fracturing our volleyball group. Some friends stayed close to me. Some sided with Lena. Others quietly drifted away, uncomfortable with the tension. I do miss some of those friendships, but I understand why things had to change. As for me and Sophie, we've now been together for 4 months. Things feel easy, peaceful. We've decided to move in together when my lease ends next month. At work, we're professional. Outside of it, we enjoy building a life together. We laugh, we talk, and we trust each other. Through mutual friends, I learned that Chase moved to Chicago. No one from our old circle talks to him anymore. Lena did file a police report against him but ultimately decided not to press charges. With time, I've come to terms with everything. I'm no longer angry at Lena. I hope she heals, but I also know I don't want her back in my life. That chapter is over. Claire and I have become closer than ever through this. She's become a true confidant, and she and Sophie are getting along well too. We now have regular dinners together. It feels like we're forming a healthy, supportive little circle. What I've learned from this: sometimes the hardest thing you can do, cutting ties with someone you once loved, is exactly what you need to grow. Healing requires space. Growth requires boundaries. Thank you to everyone who followed my story and offered advice. Your support helped more than you know. This will be my final update. It's time to move forward. It's been 3 weeks since Mia broke down in tears, and the fallout hasn't stopped. After that night, I was done pretending everything was fine. My parents still tried to keep the peace, but I refused to ignore what Alex was doing to Mia. The next morning, I sat down with Mom and Dad in the kitchen and told them everything, every insult, every inappropriate comment, every time Mia cried behind closed doors. I laid it all out without holding back. My mom looked stunned, like she'd been slapped. My dad rubbed his face, clearly overwhelmed. But to my frustration, their first reaction wasn't action, it was guilt. Maybe we failed Alex, Dad said, sighing. He's clearly hurting. I slammed my hand on the table. And so is Mia. But you don't see her tearing other people down to cope. Mom tried to calm me down, promising they'd talk to Alex. But I'd already made up my mind. I told them that if they didn't start protecting Mia, I would. I said I'd leave the house if it came to that. That got their attention. Later that night, they called another family meeting. Mia was hesitant to join, but I stood by her side. Jake actually came downstairs for once and sat quietly, arms crossed. Alex looked smug as always, leaning back in the armchair like he was watching a boring TV show. But when Dad began to speak, his voice more serious than I'd heard in a long time, Alex's smirk faded. We've heard some very concerning things, Alex, Dad said. And frankly, we're disappointed. This is not how we treat family. Alex scoffed. Oh, come on. You're taking her word for it? No, Mom interrupted. We're taking everyone's. You've crossed too many lines. That's when Jake finally spoke. She's not lying. I've seen it too. I just didn't want to get involved. I should have said something sooner. Alex's face turned red. So now you're all against me? That's rich. Dad didn't yell, but his words hit harder than any scream. You're our nephew, Alex. We love you, but we will not allow this kind of behavior in our home. You have 1 week to find another place to stay. Alex exploded. Are you serious? You're kicking me out for her? No, Mom said quietly. We're asking you to take responsibility. Something you've avoided your whole life. Alex stormed upstairs without another word. The next week was tense. Alex barely spoke to anyone and avoided Mia completely. He packed his things in silence and left without saying goodbye. We later found out he moved in with a high school friend across town. Since then, the house has been lighter. Mia slowly returned to the living room, back to her photography and sketching. She smiles more now, laughs with us at dinner, and even showed Mom and me her latest photo series. It was raw, beautiful, and painfully honest. I cried when I saw it. Jake apologized to Mia for staying quiet, and they've been closer ever since. Even Dad, who always tried to see the best in people, is starting to understand that sometimes kindness requires drawing hard lines. As for me, I don't regret standing up to Alex. Not one bit. I'm proud I defended my sister, and I've learned that keeping peace isn't always the same as doing what's right. We're still healing, but we're healing together. And for the first time in months, this house feels like a home again. Mia had been locking her bedroom door every night. She was scared to be alone in the house with Alex, and honestly, I didn't blame her. The next day, I waited until Alex left. He said he had a job interview, before I sat my parents down in the living room for a serious talk. Their reaction? Honestly, it was shocking and disappointing. My mom looked nervous, wringing her hands, brows pulled together, but not because she was worried about Mia. I explained everything. The way Alex constantly belittled her, the way he acted after her date, how unsafe Mia felt living here. My mom just sighed and said, "Honey, you might be exaggerating. Alex is going through a lot. He lost his job, his girlfriend, and his home all at once. No wonder he's acting out. Mia's young, she can handle it." "Are you serious?" I asked, my voice rising. "Alex is a grown man. Just because he's having a hard time doesn't give him the right to harass Mia. She doesn't even feel safe in her own home." My parents exchanged a glance that made my stomach sink. Then my dad turned stern. "We appreciate that you're trying to help your sister," he said, "but you need to stay out of this. Alex is family, and we're not kicking him out. So we're just letting him keep treating Mia like this?" I demanded. My mom started crying. "We'll talk to Alex," she said. "But if you keep pushing this, we might need to reconsider our financial support. Your tuition isn't cheap." I felt slapped in the face. They were more worried about Alex's comfort than Mia's safety. And now they were using my education to keep me quiet? I stormed out of the room, completely shaken. I felt helpless. Mia was miserable. Alex wasn't sorry. And my parents seemed determined to look the other way. Jake said he wanted to help, but he also said it wasn't really his problem. It felt like I was the only one truly trying to protect Mia. I even considered moving out, but I don't know how I could afford that and still finish school. The thought of leaving Mia alone with Alex made me sick. I feel completely trapped. I don't know what to do. Update 2. Things got real. The past week has been a roller coaster. After my last update, I was desperate. My parents still refused to see the seriousness of Alex's behavior. So, I made a decision I wasn't proud of. I hid a camera in the living room. Yes, it was unethical. Maybe even illegal. But I needed proof. I borrowed a small camera from a friend in my program and hid it on a bookshelf. It captured most of the living room and part of the kitchen. I checked the footage every night when everyone was asleep. The first 3 days? Nothing major. Just regular family stuff. But on day 4, everything changed. Alex cornered Mia in the kitchen. She was just getting a glass of water. He stood in her way, leaned in close, and spoke. The audio was hard to make out, but I could hear the fear in Mia's voice when she asked him to move. He tried to touch her face. She flinched and knocked over her glass. Water spilled. She ducked under his arm and ran upstairs. I was shaking with rage. This wasn't about jokes anymore. This was threatening, physical intimidation. I showed Mia the footage. She cried. She admitted things had been getting worse. More physical, jokes, more pressure. When our parents got home from work, we showed them the video. My mom cried. My dad? He didn't get angry at Alex. He got angry at me. "You violated everyone's privacy. What were you thinking?" he yelled. I couldn't believe it. I tried to focus the conversation back on Alex, but they just kept yelling about how I broke their trust. I told them, "That video shows Alex assaulting Mia." My dad just shook his head. It was probably just a misunderstanding. He was teasing. That's when Mia stood up. "I can't believe you're defending him," she said. "I'm not safe here anymore. I want to leave." I knew then, we had to go. I helped her pack a bag, threw some of my own stuff into a duffel, and we left that night. Jake stepped in after that, trying to mediate. But my parents were more upset that I divided the family than they were about Alex. They said if I didn't apologize for the camera, they'd stop paying for my college. Now Mia and I are staying with a friend. I'm looking into apartments, but it'll be tight. I'm thinking about going to the police with the footage, but I'm worried about what that could do to Mia. If anyone's dealt with unsupportive parents before, how do I keep protecting Mia and protect myself? Update 3. A month later, a lot has happened since that night. After getting advice from a domestic violence hotline, Mia and I decided to file a police report. It was terrifying, but we knew it was the right thing to do. The officers were kind and professional. They reviewed the footage and took our statements. They said the video of Alex cornering Mia was especially concerning. They talked to our parents and to Jake. That seemed to finally shake them awake. Mom called me crying. She apologized for not believing us and begged us to come home. Dad was quiet, but Jake said he looked pretty shaken. We also contacted Alex's mom, our aunt. She didn't defend him. She broke down crying and admitted this wasn't the first time. There were incidents in high school. In college, the family had just ignored them. Now, Alex is facing charges, harassment and attempted assault. He's not allowed near Mia or me. He's living with a friend and has to attend counseling. Mom checks in on us every day now. She even offered to pay for Mia's therapy. Dad's still processing, but he helped us move the rest of our things out and says he respects our need for space. Jake has honestly stepped up. He's been helping our parents understand, and he fully supports our decision to go to the police. He told me he wished he'd acted sooner. Mia and I found a small, affordable apartment. It's not fancy, but it's safe. I work part-time now at a local community center. Mia's doing freelance photography. It's hard juggling school, work, and bills, but we're making it work. I told my grad advisor what happened. They were super understanding and helped me set up a more flexible schedule. I might graduate a little later than planned, but I will finish. Right now, we're taking it one day at a time. Focusing on healing. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Trust your instincts. Speak up. Ask for help. Even if your family turns on you, you are not alone. Thanks for listening to our story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the next dramatic update.